Hello, welcome to another episode of
Latinas
Like Us. Yeah, so today we are looking forward to a few things that we need to get into. We've been talking about it the whole day, so we were just waiting for this moment to discuss some more.
But first, how was your day? How was your day today?
My day was busy. It was busy, but it was short, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It was like, I was looking at the sun go down and I was like, whoa, what time is it? Like, I thought it was later, but it was like, it was late, but I thought it was earlier. Yeah, time went by quickly today.
Yeah, like I feel like I got up, went to the meeting, came back, went to the other meeting, and then came back, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Like I did a lot, but it feels like we did a lot, but it doesn't feel like it. Like it feels like
Yeah. I don't know. I think it was just the change of locations that made it seem
I
like
think
it's
so. Because I'm like, okay, I'm not hungry, I'm not tired.
Yeah.
I'm
I was
like, I should have more meetings like this.
That was nice. Yeah. I just like chilled. Like I was literally doing work like this.
Right?
Like I was like, oh, this is chill.
Yeah. So it was an okay day. I would say it was a good
Yeah,
day.
it was nice. It didn't feel like work was getting done, but it didn't feel like your typical work day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like that. I need more days like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like work is getting done, but it's relaxing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what time is it?
Yeah.
Like time is flying.
It's funny because it was like usually when the boss is around, you're like hectic and stressed out, but our boss is a little different, so it was
Yeah.
more fun.
Yeah,
with
it was
her
cool.
around.
Yeah. It's not your typical work what is it? Not work relationship, work environment. No.
Environment.
No, there's another work. There's another word that I can't think about.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I
yeah,
can't
but like the relationship is different.
Yeah. It's
So
very chill.
dynamic.
Yeah, work dynamic.
Yeah, work dynamic. So I really enjoyed that part.
Yeah, that was pretty good. So it was a good day.
It was a good day.
Yeah. So this weekend we actually had my husband's birthday, Daniel. We were together the whole weekend.
We were together the whole week, every day.
At this point, might as well move together.
Oh my gosh. I feel like we are gonna get tired of each other, so we could move next door to each other. How about that? Our dynamic.
Right? Yeah, so that was fun.
Then we'll get tired.
Right? We were in a hot tub.
Oh yeah,
so
it
much
was
fun.
really fun.
That was fun. We had a lot of food. I think I ate more than I've ever eaten. Like it was so much food. We had a lot of hot chocolate.
That's what I was about to say. I think I've never had as much hot chocolate as I had in those 3 days.
Yeah.
But it called for it. It was a cabin. It was snowed.
It was snowing.
It was freezing. Marshmallows by the fire was amazing.
It was the total vibes.
Yeah. So that was really fun. We should do that more.
More
it was
often.
like I don't want to say more often, but I feel like once every 2 or 3 months, just to like de-stress. I feel like that's a good idea.
I agree.
Everybody should do that.
Yeah, that was a good one. And I feel like it was like those 3 days I was not on my phone, I was not in my computer.
Yeah.
I was just like relaxing.
In the moment.
Yeah, that was good. I think we should do that more often.
Yeah.
That was really
nice.
really good. Yeah. But going into today's topic. So this topic really came up because we were watching what is it? Love
Yet
is
again.
Blind.
Love is Blind.
It's not sponsored by Love is Blind. But yeah, we were continuing Love is Blind, and then we were talking about how, I guess, looks and financial stability impact a relationship, and I guess a relationship, not just like a love relationship, but just in general. I feel like with everyone.
Kind of like the dynamic. I started asking questions. Gabby started asking questions. We were just discussing, so I guess why not talk about it with you guys?
Yeah.
So just like looks in general. Let's see if I remember. Sometimes when the camera goes on, head goes blank. But just in general, like for example, the concept of the show, you get to know yourselves, like not spiritually, but attitude wise, personality wise. So you get to know each other personality wise, and then you meet, and then that's where the physical looks part goes to it. And it was is it enough? Like, is the connection personality wise, spiritually wise, soulmate wise enough where looks is not important. So, and I feel like my point of view in that is, if personality is there, like for it to be like true love, it's like not true love, but like when you're in love with a person, no matter if you connect with their soul, no matter how they look like, in your eyes, they will always be beautiful.
Yeah.
So I feel like,
Yeah, I mean, yes, that but I feel like it's complicated because I feel like, yes, that's true, but at the same time, like for me personally, I feel that I can feel like that about a person where I'm like, I love you, and to me, you're like a 20 and you're perfect. But my problem really comes when I look at myself. Like, I don't look at myself that way. And I feel like for me, that's like such a big deal because, um, I mean, I don't know, like if this happens a lot in like the communities with females where I feel like we are insecure a lot of the time, but I feel like there is different types of insecurities. Like for example, for me, I want to say like one of my biggest insecurities is um, I'm always looking at the next girl. So like I don't really focus on me in things. Like I'm not like, well, I'm smart, I'm this, I'm that. No, like I feel like I look more at like the girl right in front of me. Like I'm like, well, she has blue eyes and I don't, and she has like really long hair and I don't, and like I just look at other people's attributes and then I take them all away from me. You know, so I feel like for me that's like such a big deal because I feel like it can cause issues for you and your relationship without the other person even having a say in it, because they can be like, no, like I don't look at you like that, like I think you're 30, but to me I don't think I am, and I feel like if you don't believe it, then you're always gonna have a problem.
that is very true. The going into the how you view yourself is very important, especially if you don't view yourself that way. How do you expect other people to view you like that? So for me, I feel like my insecurities are a lot, but mostly I go back into thinking like, well, let's say relationship wise, like romantic relationship. There's always different kinds of relationships, but for me, it's like, you always like to say like, oh, what do you have to offer, right? You will always ask the question to other people. Well, lately I've been asking myself, what do I have to offer? And when it comes to that, it's like really digging deep. So, for example, looks wise, and I was having a discussion with my sister, with Brie about that, where it comes to what women like create our own standards based on ourselves. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It goes back to the conversation where it's like, to other people, um, your looks are great. Like, for them, you're enough. But then it goes back to us being like, well, no, I'm not enough. How come you're saying I'm enough? So I feel like women have a part in that, not only men telling us what to do, but just each other telling us what to do based on ourselves. Like, us looking at another person and be like, well, that's beautiful, but who's telling you that you're not beautiful? Like, does that even make any sense?
No, it does, but I feel like some women, I don't know if it's like a front, but like you can see them when they walk, the way they carry themselves, like they're so secure of themselves, where it's like I don't know, Kim Kardashian could be standing in front of you and you're like, I don't care, I look good and I feel good and I'm fine, like I don't care who's in front of me. But I feel like people just have like like I guess their own insecurities, where you kind of trick yourself into thinking, that you're not good enough.
Yeah, I feel like it goes back to what you said. Like, Kim Kardashian must have her own insecurities, but I feel it's like,
you feel like they don't.
They don't. That's where I'm going at. It's the fact, or like, not are we envious? Not, I don't want to say envious, but do we want that confidence where it's like, although, yeah, I deal with my own insecurities, I'm not portraying myself as that. I'm portraying myself as a confident woman who thinks they're beautiful, who knows what they have to offer. And does that in return create goes back into how people view you? Like,
Yeah.
if we start feeling that way, kind of like feeling how we want to look, if that makes sense. Like, if you're comfortable in your own body, if some people do affirmations in the morning, that's all powerful. Our brains are very powerful. So instead of like trying to fix what's wrong with us, like accepting it, and that's very difficult. Like, I can't even look at myself in the mirror for long for long periods of time. But like, would that help?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you have to kind of figure out what you see as beautiful, because I feel like everyone has their own image of beautiful. So, like, the thing is, I change my mind a lot about what's beautiful, because, like, for example, like one day I look at a girl that like has beautiful long hair and like huge, like, I don't know, hazel eyes, and like just very beautiful, and I think that's beautiful, right? But and then I see a girl with black short hair with like dark brown eyes, and I'm like, oh my god, she's so beautiful. But I cannot think like that about myself, like it just comes down to like not recognizing those attributes in me, but just recognizing them in other people.
Well, I just like to say that I feel like I've told you this multiple times, but growing up, I was like, I saw Gabby in church, and I was like, damn,
Not in church.
that she is a beautiful woman. So it goes back into like, you're looking at other people and saying that people are looking at you and like, wow, I want those long ass lashes. Like, like,
not alone. Yeah, but I feel like I keep changing my mind. Like one day I'm like, I feel like wearing no makeup looks beautiful, and then the next day I'm like, I see a girl with makeup and I'm like, oh my god, what was I thinking? I need to wear makeup.
No, I feel like it's okay to change our style, but I feel like we shouldn't change ourselves into what we think is beautiful, if that makes sense. Because, for example, I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the day, thin eyebrows was a thing. Was a thing. Now, do we naturally have thin ass eyebrows? Some people do, Some people don't. Some people have regular thick eyebrows. Now, my style could change, but what if for the people that didn't pluck their eyebrows and just acknowledge their natural features, styles change. So I'm just saying, like, if we fall in love with our looks instead of the style of what we think is beautiful, would that help in return how we view ourselves and how we perceive other people viewing us?
Yeah, I think so, because I feel like once you learn to like love yourself and see yourself for who you are, you're able to walk around with PJs and feel like you're in a red carpet wearing an amazing dress, and you can actually be wearing an amazing dress, and just feel the same way regardless of what you're wearing or what you look like. I just feel that it takes something to get to that place, and it's just a whole journey of getting there, because while a lot of people have insecurities, some people don't know how to get through those insecurities, because it's like, I'm not sitting here thinking, oh my god, I look like Fiona, but I'm also not sitting here thinking, oh my god, I look like Kim Kardashian. Yeah. Then at the same time, I'm aware enough to think that looks don't matter. Well, they do realistically matter, but what I mean is, like, it's not everything. Of course, what you have in the inside is what matters, but realistically speaking, I feel that that's one of the things that I feel like a lot of women struggle with. Like, what do we want to look like? What do people see in us? And I'm not sure where that insecurity comes from with me, because I feel like I need to look different in every single setting. Like, I feel like if I'm with my friends, I feel comfortable to look however I want. I don't care what I look like. If I'm with my family, I'm like, I don't care what I look like. But I feel like when I'm around people that I'm not usually around, like, like if I'm meeting up with, like, let's say your friends, or like other people that I'm not usually with, I feel like that changes. Like I want to look a different way according to where I'm going. And I wish I just had a look and I wore it no matter what or where.
But I don't feel like, I don't want to say that. Like, yes, that would be great. But I feel like that's what's so great about fashion. That's so great about your style.
But to what point is it you trying to please everybody and you actually being who you truly are in essence?
Well, that's a good question.
You know, because like for example, like I personally don't like wearing like short things, but I like wearing fitted, super fitted things, like super like shaped, right? But in some cultures, religions, that's like a big no. Like you, even though you're dressed nicely, it's like you're dressed like a prostitute, whatever. But I'm just saying, like,
Well, us Latinas should know we're exotic or whatever. We
yeah. So I feel like I want to be able to feel okay with. Of course, you know, like you have to like. There is a difference between you feeling good about yourself and you being respectful. Like when you're going to church, you dress a certain way, but you're not dressed a certain way to please people. You're just being mindful of where you are.
Yeah.
That's different, as opposed to you going somewhere and feeling judged because of what you look like.
Yes. For that, it's like you said, there's a difference between being respectful based on where your location, based on religion and stuff like that is different. But I feel like for generations, we were told to hate our curves, to hate our bodies. We're too much. We're too voluminous. We're too slutty. We're too whatever. But I feel like standards have changed where it's like before people would literally like judge you like walking in the street, and now it's like, yeah, you know, those like, for example, if I go to church in a, you know, depending on which church you go to, if you go to church just like you're going to a nightclub,
Yeah.
you're gonna feel uncomfortable.
Of course.
You're gonna feel uncomfortable because you're not going with what like the rest of the people are going. Like for example, if you go to like a pajama party and you're wearing like a quinceañera dress, you're gonna feel out of place.
Of course.
Of course. So I feel like us changing how we dress based on
where we're
going situation, I don't feel like that's not being true to ourselves. I feel like that's just what the occasion is calling for. So I feel like you could still have choices that you like. You could have a beautiful long fitted gown that still fits into the situation you're doing. You're dressing appropriately. Now, why should you, unless I feel like unless you're being disrespectful to, you know, a religion or something, why should you hide yourself? You know, you're not signing up for modesty. Like if you want that, that will be the way you'd go.
Yeah.
It's mostly like I'm being respectful. I'm not showing up in like naked. You know, I'm just like, why should I hide my body? God gave you this beautiful body. God gave a lot of us Latinas beautiful bodies. It's just,
I just feel like women in general are so mean. Like
that
you
is
can be
very
so
true.
mean. So like for example, for me, like if I see a beautiful girl, woman, like I admire that so much. Like I'm like, oh my god, you're so pretty. Like never do I have a thought of, oh my god, I hate you, you're so beautiful. No, it's more like, oh my god, she's so beautiful.
Yeah.
You know?
Me too. I'd be like, who would be like the drunk girl who goes to the bathroom like, oh my god, you're so pretty.
And I've done that. Like I've literally like opened the window of the car and I yelled out loud, oh my god, you look so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of women are not capable of that, and I've experienced it to like, you know, a few times where for some reason I looked homeless a few times. And literally I've had girls like just literally stare at me and just like literally like look at me like what is this thing in front of me, you know?
You know, I feel like that's most of the time when women do stuff like that is their own insecurities showing through.
But how does that make sense? I look homeless.
But because you may think you look homeless, but although you're not trying, you still look beautiful.
It literally felt like Maria Mercedes, Paquita, like, what is it? Oh, with Marimar. I literally felt like that, and that was Soraya Montenegro right there. Like, that's literally how I felt. And for me, that's like, I feel like that's one of the scariest things for me, to like be around women, because I feel like women are really, really mean.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to hide it. And I've been put under those situations before where it's like, I don't feel like I'm up to whatever standards you have, and I'm not wearing the expensive clothes that you're wearing, and I'm not wearing like, I don't look like you because I don't have the maintenance that you have. So for me, that's like really, really hard to deal with.
Yeah, I feel like it also sometimes have to go hand in hand with culture.
Yeah.
For example, I know where a little bit of my anxiety going to like social gatherings came upon, and it's just, I don't know if anybody else can relate, but growing up Latina, when you go to family gatherings, when you go to family parties, and you walk through the door, it's like, ay, que delgate, ves?
Yeah.
Ay, subiste de peso. And I'm just I'm walking through the door, like, I'm not, I look myself in the mirror every day. What if that's something I'm beating myself up for?
Yeah.
Like, why do you have to bring that to attention? Like, so that's when I, in return, when I meet somebody, when I look at somebody, I'm never saying anything negative, but at the same time, I don't want to say something positive. No, I don't mean it like that. Like, for example, I don't comment on their size. Right?
Yeah, like, oh, you lost weight. It's like, that's not a compliment.
Yeah, what if you're trying to gain weight?
Yeah.
So I don't know what your standards are. So I just say, wow, you look beautiful.
Yeah.
So I never go up to a person, regardless, and say something on their appearance besides, wow, you look beautiful. Wow, I really like how you did your makeup today.
Yeah.
I really like how your hair looks. Not that it doesn't look good any other day. It's always amazing. It's just, I like the new style that you tried. So when I look at women and I see other women that I think are beautiful, I tell them they're beautiful. And if I don't look at a person, which is rare, obviously, where it's just like, damn, she ugly, which that's never, I'm not like, I think it's all based on personality. I'm never like that.
I feel like it's like you said, it's about culture too, because I feel like growing up Latina, I feel like most of the people, like the females that I've seen, like, they take really good care of themselves and like always strive to look beautiful. And I feel like being around so many different cultures, for me, that's been like a shock, because I feel like every culture has its own ways of beauty. Like, for example, for the Latin community, most women are curvy, or like they're very, very into their looks, and like, we like to wear nice jewelry, and we like to wear like, just I would say extravagant things. They're not expensive, they're just extravagant, and I feel like for other cultures, they are the same way, but in a more subtle kind of way. But I feel like Latinas have this thing where we do like to look pretty, and we do like to be like kind of the center of attention, but we're kind. Yes. I feel that we're kind and we're welcoming.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to culture-wise, just living in New York, you have all these cultures, this different traditions, different ways to do, different religions. So what I've noticed is that each being with so many different Hispanics, each country is so different. Yeah, we're all Latinos, but we all have something different. So what I've seen with the Hispanic community, and you could see this, people different cultures reacting to our music videos or everything. We're more in tune with our bodies. Yeah. It's not modest. It's not a modest culture. We're in tune with our bodies. So it's like, you see that. So if you go to a party, you see all these women, beautiful. They know what they have, and they're not afraid to show it, and they're confident. So then they see another woman, and most of the times that I haven't had any bad experience with like, you know, I know there's some nasty Latinas out there, but I haven't had, you know, because you see them, but it's like not like that, but like who haven't had, like, for example, I've been to clubs with, I usually like Latin clubs because el perreo intenso, like, you know, is the only thing. And they're beautiful, and I've gone to the bathroom, and they're like, wow, you look beautiful. Like, I'm looking at myself in the mirror, like, fixing my eyeliner, and they're like, you look beautiful.
Yeah.
So, I'm like, thank you. Like, you know, and I'm like, you look beautiful. So, it's always been like that with our own culture. You know, they do have one or two, but any person, based on personality, you could find them in any culture. They're like, you know, just not the most approachable people. They, you know, dirty looks. You know why you know, you know who you are, you know how you are.
Stop giving dirty looks.
You know, it's
not nice.
Other people just have resting bitch face. You know, I've been
me.
Yeah.
Oh
so
my god.
I've been guilty of that. You know, in my head, I'm thinking about like what I forgot to do, and you may be thinking that I'm like cursing you out in my head. Yeah. But honestly, that's just my.
Oh my god, that happened to me where I went to Daniel's job, like his previous job, and then there was this lady, well, this girl that was working with him, and she was like, "Why does your wife look like a bitch? Like she looks so mean. Like she has a resting bitch face." And I got so offended because I didn't really know what that meant, and I didn't know it was such a common thing for Latinas, where that's what we look like. Yeah. That's our, like, default.
Yeah.
So I was so offended, and I was thinking, you didn't defend me? You didn't say anything? And then I was like, she doesn't know me. She can't be talking like that about me. And I feel that now I'm like, yeah, so what? I'm not gonna be walking around with a smile on my face. Like,
sometimes I'm just randomly thinking, like sometimes I'm driving and like, I don't know if you ever caught a glimpse of you like driving or something.
They're like, damn, I scared myself.
I'm like, but I'm literally like thinking about los huevos de las tortugas. Yeah. Like, you know, like I'm not thinking of anything mean. It's just our
thinking about puppies.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like sometimes it's like, okay, so that's why I take everything with a grain of salt. It's mostly how you view yourself, not how others view you. Some people just have a bad day. Some people don't know how to channel their anger. They portray, like, is it portray? No, channel? I don't know. They, you know, they excrete what they're feeling instead of like holding it in and understanding that it's nobody else's fault type of situation. So it's just like everything has a part in it. I feel. So I feel like it's just a very complicated thing, and it's easy to talk about it, but then trying to implement it in your life, it's like, okay, look at yourself in the mirror, you know, try to associate positive thoughts when you view yourself instead of like negative thoughts. Try that, you know, day by day. And I don't want to say, you know, fake it till you make it. See it till you believe. What is it? Oh, something to believe it.
No, I think it's fake it till you make it kind of way. Yeah.
So it's not that, but you know, try to change your connotation when you see yourself. Like, oh, that's not enough. That's not beautiful. Because you are enough. You are beautiful. You may look at other women and they're thinking the same thing, but you don't see that because how we view ourselves is not how other people view us all the time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, I've always been. I think the older I get, the more proud I am of like my roots of like where I come from and just being part of the Latin community. I just feel that sometimes like being around other cultures kind of like makes me like lose myself a little bit because I'm like yeah, like, you know, most of the time I'm like, oh my god, like Latin women are so beautiful, because I mean all women are beautiful, but you know, we're Latinas, so that's what we're talking about.
We relate to our community.
Exactly. So just talking from the Latina kind of, I guess, perspective, not from everybody else, because I feel like all women are beautiful. I just feel that because there are so many different kinds of women, that there are different kinds of beautiful, that it creates that insecurity. And again, like I said, I know all women have insecurities. But for me, that's really, really, really been a struggle, being around so many different people, like the people that I've dated, the people I've been around, like it's just been a struggle because I like, for example, I dated an Irish guy before, and then I was like, oh my god, like I don't have blue eyes like his family, and that's just insecurity of my own because I'm like, oh my god, like I don't have blue eyes like them, like I'm not as pretty because I don't have blue eyes.
Well, haven't you thought that they're like the reason why they find it so attractive is because you don't have blue eyes?
Yeah, I know, that makes sense. But to me, that didn't make sense in my head, where I was like, no, like I'm not as pretty as them. Or like, even now with Daniel, where I'm like, like he's Israeli, he's Jewish, and then I'm like, like these women have beautiful long hair and like they're just so pretty in their own way, and they have beautiful tans, and then I'm just like, I don't look like them. So I feel like I always forget to see the Latina side. I always look at the other side of like people, not me.
Because I feel like we're just and I don't know about people in your own countries, in our own countries we're just us. Like,
Exactly.
But in this country there's so many that I feel like we've been not taught, there's a word for it, I forget every word, but censored, I don't know, molded to think that we're not good enough, we're too much. Like, we're kind of raised to be ashamed, to hide where we come from in a way. So
yeah, that's true.
There's just a lot of hatred out there, and there's a lot of like, generalizing. We're all Latinos. We're all from individual countries that have their own cultures, their own styles, views, and unfortunately, here in America, in the United States of America, we're generalized as just one thing. So in a way, it's retaking the power and being proud of where you come from. And yeah, you may think having long hair and being tan looks like that, but then you're not appropriating, but then you're looking like another culture. You know what I mean? Instead of your own. And it's just like that just the being proud, just we're Latinos, we're amazing. Like, look at where we at. People trying to be like us. Like, not Bad Bunny. Don't look at it, said Latino. Like,
you said that?
Like wise Bad Bunny lyrics. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's our time to shine. To not be ashamed of where we came from, who we are. Stop being ashamed of our curves or just everything, and just take back the power and start slowly implementing ideas where it's like, yeah, I don't have to apologize on how I look because this is who I look. This is how I look.
No, for me, it's like I look at like the Queen of Dragons, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. But then I look at what's her name, Sofia Vergara, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so hot.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, I don't know, connect to yourself.
I feel like beauty is just, it's relative.
It is. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and everything in itself is beautiful. I don't know if you ever looked at, I know growing up is always, like, this was always said to me, but if you look like a not so, I guess, beautiful guy with this model woman, and there's like, how did he catch her? Stuff, or vice versa, like, a beautiful William Levy guy, and then like an woman, and it's just like, how does that make sense? But it should teach you that once, like, it goes back to like, our looks important. It goes back to Love is Blind, and it's just like, you have to find that person attractive. Sometimes a mixture of their personality makes you think that person is beautiful inside and out. So I think it's a mixture. There has to be chemistry, and there has to be attitude.
Yeah.
Like, personality.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a mixture of everything, where it's just like, no matter how this person looks, they're beautiful to me. I'm in love with their soul. Like, I just want them in my life.
Yeah.
And you could see that in couples that have been married, and there's been tragedies, unfortunately, and through those tragedies they still stay, and it hasn't hindered their love. It makes, difficulties may come your way, but that love if anything, is stronger than before.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, it's easier said than done.
Of course,
true.
everything is easier said than done. But it's the baby steps. It's the little bit at a time.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's kind of like, what's his name? George Clooney and Amal. Yeah, I think it's Amal. Yeah, like where I feel like he's a really good looking guy, but she's so smart. And she's like, she does so much for everyone that it's like she fights for like amazing causes that when you put them together, she's like so much more attractive than him. Like she's like not only beauty, but she's also brains. And then I'm just like, oh my god, like I feel like women we put a lot of like pressure on our looks and not so much on like who we are.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the thing. Like, like for example, are you able to take compliments?
Yes, but yes and no.
Like I feel like I'm
We're so
not.
complicated.
Like I feel like I'm not. Like for example, like like if Daniel is like, oh, you look so beautiful, and I'm like, stop. Like don't tell me I look beautiful. Like I just don't want to hear it, but I want to hear it. Like
Yeah, well, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
No, but it depends on who. Like, if it's like I prefer a woman's compliment over a man. If that makes sense.
Yes, I agree. But like I can't like I have a hard time taking compliments in every single way. Like even like work wise, like if you tell me that I'm doing a good job, I'm like, oh my god, I'm doing a terrible job. Like I don't know why. Like I just feel that like I have issues.
No, we all have issues. But it's like, I know where you're coming from. I
Like
don't know.
I want to be able to take a compliment, like be like, yeah, like without being cocky about it. More like just being secure of myself and just being proud of who I am without being cocky about it. Like just being thank you. Like yeah, I am smart and yeah, I do what I do well and I do look pretty today. You know, like just being able to take that compliment without feeling insecure. I feel like compliments make me feel insecure.
Yeah. So, in a way, yeah. So when it comes to like compliments, I feel like I don't put all my thought to it because I feel like sometimes we settle. For example, if a person you like, tells you, "Oh, I really like how you do your hair," you're gonna be more leaning towards doing
Not
your
me
hair
doing my hair like this
the
all the
same
time.
way all the time. Exactly. So when does other people's compliments, how
Affect
they
you.
view you, affect how you view yourself? So it's like when a person is like, "Oh, wow, I really like your outfit today." I'm like, "Oh, thank you."
Let me wear it again tomorrow.
No, no, it's just more like, "Oh, thank you," acknowledging like, "Hey, this is a good outfit. You know, maybe I'll reuse it in the future for another event." But it's more like, "Oh, thank
That
you."
you looking like Square. SpongeBob SquarePants. Same outfit every day.
No, and just like acknowledging, be like, "I appreciate that. Thanks for noticing," and then that's it. Move on. Don't have that dwell in your head because then that's when it becomes a problem. That's when it becomes you changing yourself for the view of other people.
Yeah.
Well, the idea for other people. I don't even know if that makes sense, but how other people view you. There you go. Especially when it comes to, and this is what I learned. I forgot where I learned it, but it kind of said that it was kind of damaging telling kids that they're doing a good job because then they keep doing the same thing and they expect to get the same results. But then there's gonna come a day when they're good enough is not good enough, but they've been told that it is good enough.
Oh,
If that makes sense. So there's gonna come like if you I was like learning about like child psychology and like upbringings and stuff like that. So always encourage your kids to do better. Never tell them in a way like I don't know how it said. I don't want to give you wrong information, but technically saying keep doing what you're doing.
Okay, instead of like saying, good job, this is as much as you can do, more like, that was amazing. Like, keep doing it. I love what you're doing.
Yeah, because in a way it could be like, oh, I'm gonna keep doing the exact same thing, and then there's gonna be a time, you know, if you're doing the exact same thing when you're in kindergarten, then when you're in third grade, you're doing the exact same thing. It's not. You're gonna be behind. Like, you know, there's gonna come a kid who's gonna be.
Interesting.
So it's most like it's like recognizing like, hey, you did a great job. What did we learn? Like, how can we improve? And it's not like saying that, oh, like, you know, some people are like, well, that comes into trauma, that you'll never be good enough. And it's not like that. It's acknowledging, but also acknowledging that as human beings, we grow.
I guess that's why I never stop.
And exactly, so when you get
I was never told that. I was
no.
never told you did a good job. No, my dad was tough. I forget about it. You know, my dad would literally sit with me with a machete.
No,
I'm not kidding.
No.
You think I'm kidding? He was really.
Are you serious?
I'm so serious.
Oh
this
my
is my
God.
one memory with my dad, where I would be sitting and then I was doing my times table and I couldn't learn it because I was just so afraid that I couldn't learn it. And he was literally sitting with, it was a small machete, but it was a machete. I don't know what he was planning on doing with that. But I was sitting there and he had it in his hand and I was just trying to learn it. And he was like, you're not going to move from here until you learn it. And I think that's why I can't do math, because like it was never like.
Bro, that's traumatizing.
I know, I think that's why I can't do math. Like even when Daniel tries to teach me math, like I remember when I had a class in college and then he was like trying to help me with it. And then he was like, what's the answer? Because he was getting frustrated. But he wasn't yelling at me.
Yeah,
he was just like, we just went over this,
Uh-huh.
you know? And then I started crying. I'm like, you're so mean, you know, like I can't.
That's legit traumatizing.
I think so. So that's why me and Matt don't get along. But that's because, you know, like my dad was just tough on me with that. And he never
Right.
told me I was good enough.
My experience was totally opposite. My dad would legit come from work and like try to go over it with us, but he would fall asleep while he was reading it. Like, well, we had to read or do the times table, right? He'll tell us, and we had to recite it. But as he's telling us what to do, he would fall asleep. Because obviously, thinking back, that was a great sacrifice. Because he was coming from work.
Yeah.
He was really tired, but he still wanted to spend time with us, like going over our homework. Because my mom didn't know English. So he was the one who knew English. So he wanted our homework to be done and everything. So he would sit down. So we learned to, like, we write, like, Post-its. And we'll hide it in our shirt or in our like thigh, because it's like you can't go to sleep until you say it. So
Oh my
so it was
God.
like he would fall asleep and we're like like we'll read it. So we're like 2, 4, 6. So but it's funny because me and my sister did that, and because of that we know it. Because we were like reciting so much but yeah, our experiences were totally
completely
different. Yeah,
Must be nice.
completely
Not
different.
me sitting with the machete writing.
Yeah, no. No. I feel like very few times where they'll just have like the faja. Oh my gosh, that's a whole other topic, bro. We have to write that down.
What?
Disciplining as a Hispanic.
Oh my God.
That's a whole other topic. Have you ever been told to bring the own belt that you're gonna get beat with, bro?
No, forget about that. The one where your mom is like, ven para acá. And then you're like, huh? Ven para acá. And then it's like, you know what my mom did? Oh my God, off topic. But one day I remember, I don't know what I did. I just remember that my mom was like, oh, come here. But like all nice, right? And then I'm like, okay. And she's like, let me see your hands. And then I'm like, okay. And then I'm like this, right? And then she's like, no, I put one. And she's like, no, let me see both of them. And then I'm like, okay. And then she's like, go like this. And then I went like, oh my God, this lady hit me with the belt on my hands. I didn't even see it coming.
No, you didn't see the belt?
I think, no, because she had it like behind her. So I think that's what it's my parents' fault. Yeah, but I mean, they didn't do it purposely, but I feel like that's where it comes from. I think what I did was, I went to my neighbor's house, because in Guatemala it was different. Like, you could just go to your neighbor's house. And I think I took a banana from their tree, banana tree or whatever. And that's why she hit me, because I took a banana, and that's why she hit my hand, so that I wouldn't do it again.
Yeah.
But that's like,
I feel like that, I don't want to say it's normal, but it's
child abuse.
Well, it's the way you discipline. So like that, like I was interested in child psychology, like I said, and like there's different ways to like tell your child that's not good, and them learning from it. I saw this beautiful video. If I look at it, I'll send it to you. But it was this baby practically, and the mom was doing like the gentle parenting, or I don't know if it was called like that, but So the baby, he was pushing a cup, right? So the mom was serving it something. They were filming something, and he pushed the cup like that. But in pushing it like that, it tilted and it fell. And the mom was like upset, but she like hold it, and she was like, okay, next time, if you push it like that, it will flip over. Next time, don't push it, but pick it up and place it where you want to place it. And then it showed a video of the baby months later and learned and was like, no, I don't want to touch it because I will drop it. So it was stuff like that where it was just like another instance was like he bit her, and she was like, ow, but she didn't like slap the kid. Oh, for us, we would be slapped. She was like, ow, and then he was like, no, like no, don't bite me. If you need something, if it hurts because baby are teething, if you need something to bite, tell mommy I need something to bite, and mommy will give you something to bite. So then later he was like, it was a bit. He was like, he was like, bite, and then the mom was like, you want something to bite, and he was like, yeah. So the mom gave him a toy. So it was just like, and I would love to have that and teach my child when they do wrong and not just anger, because then that's how they're gonna learn.
Yeah.
If something goes, they're just gonna react with anger. And I feel like coming from like a Latin way of correcting, how we got corrected, it's like it created trauma within us. So I want to like change a little bit. No, but it's like it's all cultural. Come on, we all know the chancla. Come on.
Yeah, we'll go into that next time because that's a very interesting topic. Because I feel like my mom, from the way she raised me to the way she's raising my younger siblings, it's completely different and it's not fair. But whatever.
That's next episode.
I was the experiment.
Next episode, because I have some stories of things. Oh, next episode. Let's not get into it. Okay, we got excited.
Yeah. Anywho, yeah, so I feel like my insecurities come from a childhood trauma, and I'll tell you guys about it later on why that's the case.
Yeah, but
that's my conclusion.
To wrap it up,
yeah.
How we view ourselves, how other people view us. I think we need to prioritize how we view ourselves instead of how other people view us. Once we like prioritize that and really work in ourselves and accepting how we are, and that doesn't mean that it's like, you can't look in the mirror and be like, oh, I want to better myself.
No, you can, but I feel like you should always have like a love for yourself.
Yeah,
and work towards being accomplishing things that you want to accomplish with yourself, but that doesn't take away from who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Whether you want to be healthier and changing your lifestyle, those are all things that you want to better, to be better, to have a longer life. I'm working on myself, but it shouldn't be like hatred. It shouldn't be like.
I mean, I like myself more than I don't, so I feel like a lot of the times I just remind myself that, for me, what helps me is just to think, one, we were created by God, and that in itself makes us beautiful, no matter what standards we're being looked with. Like everyone is beautiful regardless of where you come from, what color you are, anything. Like we're just beautiful because we were created by God. But it's also the fact that like we have to appreciate everybody out there. So for me, I like to think that God created us and that makes us beautiful and that's enough. But I also like to think of it in a very human type of way where it's like, I like to look up to people, like I look at Beyonce, I look at J-Lo, I look at Shakira, I look at like Sofia Vergara, I look at all the beautiful women out there that don't have blue eyes, that look like me, and I think they're freaking hot as hell. So yeah, so I feel like you have so many, what's her name, Ashley, I forget her full name, but Graham, Ashley Graham, like she's so beautiful. Just so many women out there that are so beautiful.
That is
and
true.
Like they really, like that girl from Love is Blind, what's her name? Alexa.
So pretty. Yeah. I feel like, I don't know, we're all beautiful, but for me, I've always looked at my mom.
Oh my god,
Like,
her mom is so beautiful. My
it's
goodness.
always been like, I want to look like that when I'm
We all
older.
want to look like your mom.
She literally does not age. She's like wine.
She's like a MILF, all the dilfs.
Yeah.
Like she's like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
maybe we'll have her one day.
One day, she's better. She gets better with
With
age.
time, she's
Yeah.
wine.
So I always like had that, and I know she will come up many times because she is my biggest role model. We fight sometimes, but I love her. She loves me. But that's what I strive
But
to
I
be.
feel like that's one thing. Tell your little girls they're beautiful in their brain, they're beautiful as humans, they're beautiful on the inside, on the outside, not just on the outside. Because I feel like when you tell little girls that they look so beautiful because they're wearing a dress or because they have their hair done, that creates a trauma on its own, that you have to have something done in order to look beautiful, as opposed to, you know, like you just got out of the shower and you're going to bed and you look so beautiful no matter what you're wearing.
As soon as you wake up, you're
You're
beautiful.
beautiful. I
Regardless.
forgot where I saw that, where a mom literally and a father, they literally tell their little girl before she goes to bed how beautiful and smart she is and how capable and independent. And when she wakes up in the morning, that's the first thing she hears as well, how beautiful she is inside and out and how smart and capable she is.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think that's a good wrap up.
Yeah.
Just stay beautiful. You're beautiful. Stay
Stop being toxic.
beautiful. Thank you. Bye.